Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Kaale Art. Today I'm going to try and fix a mistake. Okay, so first of all, these are paw prints of my cat who quite a few months ago stepped into a painting and continued to walk, and I cleaned all of them off except for two, just as a reminder because he's so cute. But anyway, back to the painting. So this was a combination of preparing a background, which I have in a separate video, of pouring and swiping. And then I applied a stencil, which has bled quite significantly. So I'll bring it a little bit closer. You can see that the outlines are blurred, and you can see the little gray bits everywhere. So this is already dry, and the gray bits are there because I tried to use a marker like this. Sorry, there we go. I don't know if it's available in your country, but I am in New Zealand, so I tried to use this marker, and initially it looked awesome. It was nice and dark and black and created fantastic outline and hid all these ugly bits, like you can see, for example, here. Yeah. And then it dried and it became this horrible gray. So the only positive I can say the marker created is it actually gave me clearer outlines, because originally all these outlines were white, as I use white as the base paint. So the mistakes I think I've made here were that I should have used a base color like black as the first layer, and you will see in my other video I use the same color as the base color for the first layer, and then I lay the color on top, and it worked a lot better. Okay, so that was the first mistake. I used white because I wanted more contrast. And the second mistake I've made was that I used quite soft bodied acrylic, and therefore it was more runny and it got under the stencil a lot easier. So what I want to do today is I want to try and use a better, slightly, what's the English word? More medium bodied acrylic, so less runny, in black, to do outline of the stencil. And I want to do just a part of it and let it dry and see what the dry effect is before I carry on, because this can take a very long time. So I'm going to do a part of it and then we will see how we go. Now, one other tip I have is that was very helpful in case you want to save an image that has bled with a stencil, is to use the actual stencil kind of next to your art, because if bits like this, the busy bits, I don't know if you can see, but if the busy bits have bled, it's very hard to see what it's supposed to be like. Whereas if you have a stencil right next to you, you can check, especially if you put it like this on a dark background like my table, you can see what it's supposed to be like, and it will help you recreate. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to turn this around, but you will get the idea. Okay, so what I am going to use here is a little cup of water, just in case I need to clean something off. So that's just on the side. I'm going to use this cup to transfer a little bit of black paint. I am trying today the Pebeo Studio Acrylics High Viscosity. It is an experiment, so we will see if that works well or not. And I don't like keeping my paints open for too long, so I prefer to transfer a little bit of paint. We don't need much to start, and then if I need more, I will just transfer more. And the thing I like about these silicone cups is that you can see that it's very easy. You basically clean all the paint off the palette knife, so you don't have much wastage. I'm just going to put the palette knife on the side. All right, this is the first time I got this jar. It looks quite cool. You can open it, and you can also open it this way. So I haven't used this particular feature yet, but I'm sure it will be useful in the future. All right, I also have my towel, my art towel, which I wash regularly to make sure that the stains here are just superficial and don't transfer to my brushes. I have my emergency help, just in case. I don't know if I'll use it or not. And I have some paper towels. And my paper towels, the purpose of the paper towel is, let me just make sure that you can see. The purpose of the paper towel is to protect the painting from any transfer you might get on your hands. And I have my brushes because I haven't decided yet which brush I want to use. My gut feeling says something skinny and small, but we will see because it also needs to be comfortable. All right. Let's begin. I had a think about which brush I want to start using, and I am going to give this one a try. I'm not sure if I'll be happy with it or not. And I want to start with slightly larger outlines just because I want to warm up and see what happens. So this process is finished. I have painted over with black paint in all the gaps that the white paint has bled in. I found that those parts here were very difficult as they were so detailed, and so I've just painted over with black completely. I'm not 100% happy because you can see how the diluted black paint and the thicker black paint, they have a different shade when they dry. So it is quite obvious, and I'm still thinking about whether I'll be able to fix it or not. But in the meantime, what I want to do is I want to go over the main part of the stencil and add more color. And to do that, I want to try, and this is an experiment, to retape the stencil. So all this is dry now. I think it's going to be a little bit challenging because I don't want it to move, and I want it to be almost in exactly the same place. And after I've painted over with black, obviously some bits are not exactly as per the stencil, but I want to give it a try, so we'll see what happens. I might completely ruin this. So real video collection. All right, I did spend a lot of time on this artwork, but sometimes the best way to learn is through making all the mistakes, right? And I'm glad I didn't give up on this one. Ooh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Here we go, the moment of truth. Ah! And guess what? It's a fail, I would say, for me. Okay. So I'm not so keen on this one. It is not good. So this has officially become my worst luck painting ever. I have tried twice now to fix this stencil painting, and if I bring this close you can see the 3D effect of this woman, and that is because I have done a stencil painting that bled. I tried to fix it one way, I tried to fix it the second way, and it failed, and then I put over another layer of paint using the stencil, and it still failed. So I have poured over black again, leaving the background as it is, and I'm going to try this time and fix it, and this is my last attempt. If it fails, I'm going to abandon this. So I'm going to try and fix it using this gel. Okay, it is PBS Studio Acrylics Brilliant Gloss, and I have tried it yesterday on another painting, and it did create a nice little thin sticky layer that dried really quickly, and in the stencil I made yesterday, it did help it prevent the other paint from bleeding underneath. Now the question is, with this particular stencil, the issue is, that's why I'm having so much trouble with it, is it has so many teeny tiny little bits of detail, as well as, if you've ever worked with stencils, you know that all these sort of bits, they lift up quite easily. And what happens is when you apply the paint, yes, the little plastic bits lift up and the paint goes underneath. So see, each one of these is an individual little bit of plastic, and the same with these here. Yeah, so they lift up very easily. So I am really hoping that this gel is going to help keep those little bits down, and also I am hoping to use the previous layer as some sort of additional 3D layer, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to take a moment to apply the stencil as carefully as I can. Okay, so trying to align it with the previous. That's not that easy. It's not as easy as it sounds. More or less with the previous layers. It's kind of, where is that one? So if I line it with there and there. So that's more or less. Now let's hope it stays like that as I tape the stencil. Wish me luck, guys, because this particular one has been doing my head in, and it could be just that this type of stencil, see how it's coming up, yeah, is just not ideal for this sort of artwork. Fingers crossed.
imaginary picture. Usually it's something that moves. Imaginary picture. Usually it's something that moves.
Okay, again, fingers crossed. Let's see if using this gel made any difference at all. Do we keep this painting, or is it just not gonna work out? Oh, I can tell you already, I don't have much hope for this at all. Right, so the paint bled anyway, and I think some of it dry clear. I'm pretty sure that that's going to dry clear, but quite a bit of it is still paint. So I am going to leave it like this and see what it looks like when it's dry, and show you guys after it's dry. But I think that these kind of stencils are just a bit too much detailed, specifically for acrylic paint, and perhaps it can be used for pencil or something like that, but not for acrylic paint. So I think that this one is a fail, but that's all right. This is how we learn. So we can see that all this detail here is lost, and the paint still bled even with the gel. And I believe it's because this particular stencil is just way too detailed, and the plastic lifts up during the process. I hope you found this video useful and helpful for your own experiments. If you would like to see the full version video, I will post it in the link below. In the meantime, please like and subscribe and comment below. If you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching, and see you again.